In a quaint village, nestled between rolling hills and lush green fields, there lived a farmer named Thomas. He was a simple man, content with his modest life, tending to his crops and caring for his animals. Among his livestock was a peculiar goose, an ordinary-looking bird with white feathers and a curious glint in her eyes. Thomas had never thought much of her until the day she laid her first golden egg. It was a morning like any other when Thomas discovered the shimmering egg nestled in the straw of the goose's coop. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, but as he picked it up, he realized it was real, its surface smooth and warm. His heart raced with excitement and disbelief. He rushed to the market, where he sold the golden egg for a small fortune. In one day, his life transformed from that of a struggling farmer to one of wealth and possibility. With each passing day, the goose laid another golden egg, and Thomas found himself drowning in riches. He bought new equipment, expanded his fields, and even built a grand house with a sprawling garden. Yet, as his wealth grew, so did his desires. He became obsessed with the idea of having more. The golden eggs, once a symbol of fortune, began to feel like a chain that bound him to his insatiable greed. One evening, as he sat by the fire, Thomas pondered the goose's incredible gift. He thought of all the riches he could amass, if only he could get more than one egg at a time. The notion gnawed at him, consuming his thoughts. If the goose lays one golden egg a day, how many could she lay if I were to cut her open? He reasoned, his heart racing with greed. In his mind, he envisioned mountains of gold, enough to satisfy his every whim and desire. The very next morning, driven by his greed, Thomas approached the goose with a heavy heart and a trembling hand. He wrestled with his conscience, but the allure of wealth had clouded his judgment. He convinced himself that he was acting for the greater good, that he would be able to provide more for his family and the village. With a heavy heart, he made the fateful decision. In a moment of madness, he took the life of the goose, believing he would soon reap the rewards of his heinous act. As the life drained from her body, Thomas felt a rush of triumph, but it was short-lived. He opened the goose's belly, expecting to find a treasure trove of golden eggs. Instead, he found nothing but the remnants of a simple bird. His heart sank as the realization hit him like a cold wave. In his greed, he had killed the very source of his fortune. The golden eggs had been a gift, a miracle that he had taken for granted. Days turned into weeks, and the weight of his actions began to suffocate him. The village soon learned of the tragedy, and whispers of Thomas's greed spread like wildfire. Once a respected farmer, he became a pariah, shunned by those who had once admired him. His grand house, once filled with laughter and joy, now echoed with silence. The fields he had worked so hard to cultivate fell into disarray, overrun with weeds and neglect. His wealth, which had seemed so secure, dissipated like mist in the morning sun. As he wandered through his barren fields, Thomas felt the crushing weight of regret. He had lost everything he valued, not just the golden eggs, but the simple joys of life, the laughter of friends, and the warmth of community. He had traded it all for a fleeting moment of greed, and now he was left with nothing but the hollow shell of his former self. In the depths of despair, he began to understand the true value of what he had lost. The golden eggs had brought him wealth, but they had also blinded him to the richness of his life, the love of his family, the beauty of the land, and the camaraderie of his neighbors. He realized that he had been so focused on acquiring more that he had failed to appreciate the abundance that already surrounded him. Determined to make amends, Thomas set out to rebuild his life. He worked tirelessly in the fields, planting seeds with his own hands, nurturing them with care and patience. He reached out to his neighbors, offering help and support, slowly mending the bonds he had severed through his greed. Though the road was long and arduous, he found solace in the simple act of labor and the joy of community. As the seasons changed, so did Thomas. The fields began to flourish once more, and with them, his spirit. He learned to find joy in the small things, the warmth of the sun on his back, the laughter of children playing nearby, and the satisfaction of a hard day's work. He discovered that true wealth was not measured in gold or possessions, but in the love and connections he fostered with those around him. Years later, as he sat on the porch of his modest home, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, Thomas reflected on his journey. He had learned the hard way that greed could destroy the very things one cherishes most. He had lost sight of what truly mattered, and had paid a heavy price. Yet in his loss, he had found a deeper understanding of life, a lesson that he would carry with him always. In the end, Thomas understood that while the goose had once laid golden eggs, it was the love, community, and appreciation for life that were the true treasures. And with a grateful heart, he vowed never to take for granted the simple joys that surrounded him, knowing that they were worth more than all the gold in the world.